Welcome, children. We have already discussed the male and female reproductive system of human, and I hope there is no doubt in those two topics. And today we'll be discussing gametogenesis, that is, the process by which the gametes are produced. The male gametes are produced in the testes, and the female gametes are produced in the ovary. The male gamete is the sperm, and the female gamete is the ovum. Okay, now this gametogenesis is of two types: spermatogenesis and oogenesis. What is spermatogenesis? The production of a sperm that takes place in the testes. Oogenesis is the production of ovum that is produced in the ovary. So the spermatogenesis takes place in the testes and oogenesis takes place in ovary. Let us start spermatogenesis. Okay. If you recall, I have explained you that the seminiferous tubule, inside the seminiferous tubule, two most important cells are present. What are those cells? Male germ cell or spermatogonia and Sertoli cell. Okay. So male germ cell develops into sperm, and the Sertoli cell provides nourishment to the developing sperm. So already I have told about this. So this is the section of seminiferous tubule. This is seminiferous tubule, and here are the spermatogonial cell or male germ cell, and these are the Sertoli cells. Now when the gametogenesis or spermatogenesis takes place, gradually these cells divides, grows, differentiates to form different cells, and ultimately the sperms are produced, and the sperms are seen at the center of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, so now let me show you this diagram. In this diagram, this is the diagram of your textbook. This diagram is asked in the exam, or else the diagram will be given and you have to level it. Some particular things are to be leveled by you. So let me show you. This is the outer membrane of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, this is the transverse section of TS of seminiferous tubule. Okay, now this cell, so the cell which are present at the base are the spermatogonium. Spermatogonium is singular and plural is spermatogonia. So spermatogonium are present at the base. So all these cells are spermatogonial cells. Now this spermatogonial cell develops into primary spermatocyte. So in the next layer you will find the primary spermatocyte. Then the primary spermatocyte divides to form the secondary spermatocyte. So in the next layer, you will find the secondary spermatocyte. Then the secondary spermatocyte forms the spermatid. Okay, and then spermatid forms the spermatozoa or sperms. So these are the sperms which are present at the center of the seminiferous tubule. Again, we will come to this diagram. Now let me explain the process. The process starts with spermatogonial cell. Okay, so this spermatogonial cell at puberty, this process starts at puberty. So at puberty the spermatogonial cell starts dividing and it forms a number of spermatogonial cell, and this is mitotic division. And what is the ploidy of spermatogonial cell? it is 2n, because so far no division has been taken place, so it is diploid and it contains 46 chromosome as it is human being. Okay, so a number of spermatogonial cells are produced by mitotic division. Now this spermatogonial cell or the spermatogonium, what happens with single spermatogonium? I am showing you single spermatogonium. Now the single spermatogonium attains maturity and grows in its size, and it develops into primary spermatocyte. So simply here growth is taking place. There is no division. So the ploidy remains as it is, that is 2n. Okay. So this phase is known as growth phase. And before this phase, simply mitotic division was taking place and multiplication of spermatogonia was taking place. So it is multiplication phase. Now what happens to this primary spermatocyte? The primary spermatocyte undergoes meiosis. As you know, the meiosis has two phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So the meiosis 1 takes place. Here I have already written meiosis 1, which is a reduction division. That means the number of chromosome will be reduced to half. So it is a equal division. Equal division means the two cells produced are of equal size and shape. Okay. So now the cell produced by the division is haploid because it is reductional division and it contains 23 chromosomes. And this cell is now known as secondary spermatocyte. Okay. Now this secondary spermatocyte, which is haploid, undergoes meiosis 2. And as you know, in meiosis 2, there is no reduction of chromosome because the chromosome number is already reduced to half. Okay. So this reduction, there will be no reduction. So the number of chromosome will remain as it is. So it is a equational division. So a single spermatocyte produces two spermatids. So these structures are known as spermatids. So from a single primary spermatocyte, two secondary spermatocytes are produced. Now from each secondary spermatocyte, two spermatids are produced. So from two secondary spermatocyte, two spermatids are produced. So as a whole, from a single primary spermatocyte, how many spermatids are produced? 4 spermatids are produced. Remember, these steps you have to remember. As in case of your sexual reproduction in flowering plant, the questions are asked how many megaspore, how many microspores, or how many ovules are produced by giving the megaspore or sporogenous cells, like this. So similar type of question will also come here. Okay. Now these spermatids undergoes differentiation, maturation and differentiation, and that process is known as spermiogenesis. Very, very important, spermiogenesis, and it develops into the sperm. Now it has been differentiated and the sperm has the head, neck, middle piece and tail. So now the sperm has been formed, and these are known as spermatozoa or sperm. Okay. So from a single spermatogonium, how many spermatids are produced? 4 spermatids are produced. And how many spermatozoa are produced? 4 spermatozoa are produced. Okay. Now let me tell you some important points related to this. The spermatogenesis starts at puberty. Very, very important. Why I am telling you? Because when we will compare it with oogenesis, that time it is very essential, and comparative questions and conceptual questions will also be asked basing on both spermatogenesis and oogenesis. And ploidy, let me tell you what is the ploidy of which cell. Spermatogonium 2n 46 chromosome. Primary spermatocyte 2n 46 chromosome. Secondary spermatocyte, it is n because it is produced by the meiosis 1. So the chromosome number is 23. Now the spermatids, since it is produced by meiosis 2, there is no change in chromosome number. So n and 23 chromosome. Now the spermatid develops into spermatozoa or sperm, which are also n, and they contain 23 chromosomes. So these ploidy you have to remember. Now come to one more important process that takes place, that is permeation. Very, very important. Okay. What is this permeation? It is the release of sperm from the seminiferous tubule after being its head released from the Sertoli cell. इसका मतलब है, आपको हमने बताया कि ये जो आपका स्पर्माटिड बन गया, अभी ये स्पर्माटिड ऐसे ही क्या मैच्योर हो जाएगा या ऐसे ही डिफरेंशिएट हो जाएगा? इट रिक्वायर्स न्यूट्रिएंट. सो नाउ दिस स्पर्माटिड एंटर्स इनटू द, नाउ कम टू दिस डायग्राम. दिस इज द सर्टोली सेल. ये है आपका सर्टोली सेल एंड दिस इज द स्पर्माटिड. दिस इज स्पर्माटिड and this is Sertoli cell. Okay. Now this spermatid enters into the Sertoli cell, takes the nourishment, attains maturity, differentiates, then it forms the sperm. Okay. Now the sperm head is released from the Sertoli cell. So this is the sperm. The sperm head is released from the Sertoli cell and then finally released from the seminiferous tubule. And that process is known as permeation. Very, 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 very important. Okay. The release of sperm head from the Sertoli cell and then finally the release of sperm from the seminiferous tubule is known as permeation. I think it is clear to you. Now come to the hormonal regulation of spermatogenesis. The whole process, may it be oogenesis, may it be spermatogenesis, both are regulated by a group of hormones. Let us see which hormones are regulating this one. The hypothalamus, which is present in the brain, it secretes gonadotropin releasing hormone. The short form is GnRH. So you have to write capital G, small n, capital R, capital H. Okay. Now when this hormone is secreted in large amount, it stimulates the anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary is stimulated. Now when the anterior pituitary is stimulated, it secretes gonadotropin hormones. Okay. So what are gonadotropin hormones? The gonadotropin hormones are those hormones which regulates the function of gonads. What are gonads? Gonad means testes in male and ovary in female. Remember. So the function of testes and ovary are regulated by this gonadotropin hormone. So gonad means testes and ovary. Now these gonadotropin hormones are of two types. One is luteinizing hormone or LH. Other one is follicle stimulating hormone or FSH. Now this LH acts on Leydig cell. Leydig cell, where is it located? Once again, let me tell you. It is present in the interstitial space of seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now this Leydig cell, when it is stimulated, it secretes androgen. It is called, the hormones are androgens. And these androgens are, what are these androgens? I have already told you. These are the hormones which are secreted from the testes. Okay, these are the steroidal hormones. These are steroidal hormones. Now this androgen stimulates the process of spermatogenesis. जब तक androgen secrete नहीं होगा तब तक spermatogenesis नहीं होगा. ठीक है. So this is how the spermatogenesis is regulated. Now what happens with this FSH? What work is being done by this FSH? The FSH acts on the Sertoli cell. Now the Sertoli cell secretes some factor. Okay, and that factor helps in spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis, what is spermiogenesis? Differentiation of spermatids, maturation also, maturation and differentiation of spermatids into sperm or spermatozoa. That is the last step of spermatogenesis. Okay, so I think it is clear to you. In exam, please write it in the schematic way, so that it will give a very clear picture, and there will be no confusion will also there. Now the structure of a sperm. Each sperm has a head, neck, middle piece and tail. So let me show you the structure of sperm. The sperm, this portion is the head. From here to here it is head. The head has a cap-like structure, that is acrosome, which contains a hydrolytic enzyme, and its function I will tell you later on. And because the sperm is a single cell, the whole sperm is covered by a membrane, that is plasma membrane. Okay. Now in the head, very little cytoplasm is there. Very little cytoplasm is there, and a big nucleus. Big nucleus is there, and this big nucleus contains the chromosomal materials. Clear? Now come to the neck. Neck is the constricted portion that joins the head with the middle piece. The neck contains two centrioles. There are two centrioles in the neck. Then come to the middle piece. In the middle piece, the spiral mitochondria, spiral shaped mitochondria are present, and this spiral mitochondria acts as the source of energy for movement of sperm. Sperm का मूवमेंट के लिए जो एनर्जी चाहिए, इट रिक्वायर्स ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी, सो दिस स्पाइरल माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया प्रोवाइड्स this energy. Then come to the tail. This tail helps in swimming, and you can see that there is a purple color line I have drawn from the centriole. So this is called the axial filament. So this axial filament is formed from this centriole. This is the centriole. The distal centriole, and this axial filament provides support to the tail. Okay. So this is the structure of sperm. Now come to the function of different parts of the sperm. The first part is the acrosome. It helps in penetrating the ovum, hence helpful in fertilization. As I have said you, it contains a hydrolytic enzyme which digests the egg membrane during fertilization. So here in this diagram you can see this is the egg. So before when the sperm comes in contact with this, it has to release its nucleus into the egg. So this is egg and this is sperm. And what happens when it comes in contact with this, the acrosome secretes a hydrolytic enzyme which digests the egg membrane at that point, and then the nucleus is released. Okay, hence it helps in fertilization. The nucleus, it is haploid because sperm is haploid and it contains the genetic material. Then spiral mitochondria, it acts as the source of energy for swimming of the sperm. Okay, now tail helps the sperm to swim. Where to swim? In the female reproductive fluid, because during copulation or during mating, the semen from the male containing the sperms are ejected into or released into the vagina of female, and from vagina the sperm has to reach the ampulla, otherwise fertilization cannot take place. Okay, so I will show you with the help of diagram. So let me tell you some other points. The single ejaculation by a male during coitus releases 200 to 300 million sperms. Okay, and for normal fertility, fertilization होने के लिए एक normal human being में, out of this 200 to 300 million sperms, 60% should have normal shape and size. Very, very important. And out of this 60%, 40% must have vigorous motility. So why this vigorous motility is required? Let me tell you. This is the female reproductive system. This is uterus and this is vagina. Then this is cervix. Okay, and this is the oviduct. And in the oviduct, this is the isthmus. This is ampulla. And then here is the infundibulum. Okay, now when the semen is released here, okay, semen means seminal plasma plus sperm. So the semen contains the sperms. The sperm must have vigorous motility and normal shape size, because the sperm is released here, but the sperm has to travel up to the ampulla for fertilization. So it is the upward movement, so it requires energy. So where from this energy comes? This energy comes from the spiral mitochondria that synthesizes the ATP, and these ATPs are utilized for the movement of the sperm up to the ampulla. And when the simultaneously the sperm and the egg from this side reach this region, then the fertilization takes place. I think it is clear to you. Now let me tell you what is semen and what is seminal plasma. Seminal plasma already we have discussed. It is the secretion of the male accessory gland. And what are those male accessory glands? Seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland. This seminal plasma plus sperm which is released from the, which is secreted by the testes. टेस्टिस से आया हुआ स्पर्म एंड सेमिनल प्लाज्मा दोनों मिलके आपका क्या बनाते हैं? They form the semen. Now this semen is released into the vagina of female during coitus. Okay, so this is about the spermatogenesis. Let me here just summarize the process of spermatogenesis only. So here spermatogonium, for better understanding, spermatogonium, which is 2n, it forms a primary spermatocyte, which is also 2n. Then how many? One spermatogenesis. Here I am writing the number. One primary spermatocyte. Then it produces two secondary spermatocyte. These spermatocytes are haploid. Then two spermatocyte produces four spermatids. And all of them are haploid. So each secondary spermatocyte produces two spermatids. Here let me write down each secondary spermatocyte produces two spermatids. Okay. Now four spermatid produces four spermatozoa और sperm. So I think it is clear to you. आपका प्लॉइड में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगा. So 2n means it is 46 chromosome. Here also it is 46 chromosome. This is 23 chromosome. This is 23 chromosome and this is also 23 chromosome. So प्लॉइडी एंड नंबर में अभी कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं होगा. आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा तो आई होप यू कैन आंसर. Okay. So with this, your today's topic, that is spermatogenesis, is over. Our next topic is oogenesis. Okay. So get ready for oogenesis. Before that, please go through all these topics because we have to compare the spermatogenesis with oogenesis. There will be a comparison. Okay. So thank you very much for attending the class.